We're back, another episode, wpgclark podcast, and we're here with
David McDonald.
And why don't you tell the people who you are, man? What do you do?
I'm I guess it depends on the day you ask.
Yeah.
Photographer, videographer, shoot a lot of music videos, so
Yeah.
that's the gist of it, I guess.
What was your come up like, man? Where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
Born and raised in Winnipeg. I was actually the sports guy my entire life. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so coming up I was in the winters I was the hockey, in summers I was baseball.
Sick, yeah.
So did that all the way through, sort of back and forth all the way through high school. Played high school hockey at St. Paul's. Coming out of high school I had to choose between junior hockey or college baseball. I ended up going and playing a year of college baseball.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was good. It's a tough life. Like I won't lie. There's a lot of days where it's, you leave on Friday at 2:00. So I played at the University of Winnipeg, but they had a team that played in the States at the time.
Oh,
so it was
interesting.
part of the North Star Athletic Conference. So we played like North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, that stuff.
Okay.
So there's a lot of bus trips. So it was kind of, you leave on Friday at 2 p.m. You get back Monday morning at 3 a.m.
And was this like every other weekend kind of
This
thing?
was kind of like in the fall season. It was like 8 weeks in the fall.
Oh, damn.
Or maybe 4 weeks in the fall. I don't even remember,
Holy shit.
to be honest with you. And then in the summer, it's pretty much 3 months. Or I guess in the spring, it's pretty much 3 months of consistently doing that. So
Okay.
So it gets pretty tiring.
Yeah. Taking it back though, where did you go to elementary school and stuff like that?
Oh, I was Beaumont Elementary School is where I grew up.
That sounds familiar.
It's in Charleswood. I was born and raised in Charleswood. Actually, about 2 minutes from Oak Park High School is where I lived.
Yeah.
The fact that I went to St. Paul's probably doesn't bode well for that. But born and raised in Charleswood, and then we moved to White Ridge when I was in grade 7.
Okay.
And then recently my parents built a place in Oak Bluff, so I moved
out
there for a couple months, and then moved back into the city on my own. So
yeah. So you were saying you were the athletic kind of student and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I, like I said, I was hockey pretty much all winter, baseball all summer, and each one just kind of balanced the other one out, so to speak.
And would you say that those were just your main hobbies really growing up with sports?
That was honestly all I did.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up a camera until it was actually my university grad gift was my first camera.
Oh, wow.
So it was a little inside of 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
So it's been a pretty quick turnaround, I guess. But
were you ever in video games and stuff like that, or was it mainly just sports?
I'm honestly a restless person. So I would I would play a video game. And I was just sports video games is all I played.
Yeah.
And by the end of the second period in NHL 2006 or whatever it was, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play street hockey.
Oh, okay.
So I was never into the Call of Duty or anything like that.
You'd rather be way more hands on and doing something.
Yeah, I kind of just can't sit still. It's a little bit of a curse, to be honest with you. But I'm always fidgeting. I'm always
coming out of high school and shit like that. What were your main hobbies around that time?
So it was honestly
still sports out of
So
school?
I coming out of school I ended up taking a position at the U of W to play baseball, and had to get a shoulder surgery right at that point.
Okay, what happened?
So I tore my rotator cuff and my labrum, and a little bit of the bicep tore as well. So I had to get that repaired, and then sort of rehabbed it through my freshman season for baseball, and then the second game of my second year, I tore it all again, and then went back to playing hockey right after it.
Yeah.
So there's never really been. This is the first time in my life where I've ever not been the sports guy.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool to reinvent yourself a little bit. You know
Who
what I
were
mean?
your favorite sport teams for each game?
Ooh. I grew up a Blue Jays fan for the baseball.
Okay.
Just because obviously they were Canada's team, but that's been a little harder sometimes.
Yeah.
But obviously you got to cheer for the Jets. For football, my family has a place in Arizona, so we're big Cardinals fans there. Yeah. Also has been tough at times, but and then what's the other one for basketball? I'm not gonna lie, I'm just a huge LeBron James fan, so I kind of just wherever he is, that's who I end up rooting for. I'm a big jersey guy. I'm all into that stuff. So, LeBron, Kobe, all that stuff that was.
Yeah. So you must have had fun then with all the jerseys at the Andre video shoot with True Blue.
Yeah.
So many jerseys in that
There was
video.
a lot of jerseys. We were actually making a joke about it that we should have, because I honestly have like a collection of about 40 hanging in my closet right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we do order them off of one of those sites from China, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
might not be the most legit,
Yeah.
but we were saying that we should have worked it in to have a different jersey for pretty much every line of the song, but
Damn, that's sick.
it was
That's cool.
that was a fun one. When I went into that shoot, actually, I had never even met Andre before.
Okay.
So I walked in and I was so close to wearing a jersey to when we went there, like not knowing anything about it.
That
And I
would
was
have been
like,
funny.
and I was gonna be. I vividly remember I was gonna wear this purple Vince Carter jersey,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, like I don't really know these guys that well. Like I should come a little bit more professional. Let's
Yeah.
get the black shirt.
Yeah.
And walked in and all of them were just wearing jerseys, and I was like, well, fuck.
And there's
You
even
know?
like framed ones on the wall.
Exactly,
and, like,
exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So how did you get into like photography and videography then?
It's kind of weird. I'll be honest with you, it was super weird. Like I said, I never really did anything with that aspect
Yeah.
of.
Until like later on in life.
Yeah, so when I was graduating university, I was still playing junior hockey. And like I said, I was the sports guy. That's all I did.
Yeah.
I was the captain of the junior team I was on, but that semester, I guess the start of that season, because I had torn my shoulder, like I mentioned before, it just kept getting worse and worse, and my shoulder would pop out, in the middle of games all the time.
Yeah, it was always getting fucked
I just
up.
wasn't even sleeping at night, so I kind of had to hang it up. So I had nothing else to do with my time.
Oh, okay.
So when I graduated that Christmas, I was supposed to get like an Apple Watch or something as my grad gift from my parents.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I was like super pumped for, but I was like, hey, can we just do a camera? Like I'd like to have a hobby that I can
get
actually
use out of it.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
I was
something.
And I was also like, I'll also be honest, I wasn't, I had finished sports. I was in essentially pain all the time. I wasn't in the best of places. And
Yeah.
at times like that, it can be a little bit harder to, this sounds kind of corny, but see the beauty in the world. So I was like, hey, let's take this device that makes me go actively pursue it.
Yeah,
And
true.
then-
No,
and
that's a
then
good
I
way to
kinda-
look at it.
Yeah, and then it kind of went from there. And then I just did it as a hobby and actually almost let it go.
Yeah.
And then picked up a job selling insurance. Some headhunter had
Okay.
came in and got me to apply at Western Financial was the company. Great company, but I sucked at the job. I'll be honest with you.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just not a good insurance salesman.
What do you mean you sucked at it? Like.
Well, like I had to. Essentially, the job was like I would sell employee benefits.
Okay.
So I
yeah.
would call companies in. I'm trying to remember what provinces it was. It was like Ontario, Alberta, BC, and Manitoba, and
Mhm.
try to essentially sell them these benefit packages over the phone.
Yeah.
And
Like just cold calling companies.
oh, literally cold
Yeah.
calling, like 80 calls a day some days.
Oh wow.
And part of that job is, I guess, with cold calling, you got to be good at pushing back when people aren't interested in your
Yeah.
shit. And I just was not good at it.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's definitely a downfall of mine too. Like,
I'll be honest
I can't
with
be like that pushy guy. you
I'd
know?
call them up and I'd be like, "Hey, this is Dave from Western Financial. How's it going? Do you wanna get benefits? No? Okay. I don't blame you. See you later," type thing. So I was just not great at it. So ended up, I guess, at the same time as that was sort of, or I guess as the insurance was starting up and I was sort of going on, I started to realize, it wasn't for me, and just
Yeah.
by chance started having some people coming and asking me to do pictures for them or do photos for them or
Okay.
videos, whatever it may be, and I kind of just realized that there was something that I enjoyed a little bit more, that I was a little
Yeah,
bit better
and
at.
there was potential and
Yeah.
like stuff like that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
and then in, I think it was June, I just made the jump full time, launched my company, and that was
Nice.
that. So
Early on, like when you were taking pictures and stuff like that, were you like uploading them and like doing all that?
I was super self-conscious of the stuff
Okay.
I was doing. Like I guess having always been that, I guess, athlete guy, you think that, okay, that's what you're defined by, and that's what everybody's
Yeah.
expecting from you. And so I ended up making like a private Instagram account for a little while, and that had like 100 followers or something on it. And
Yeah,
I shared
yeah.
some stuff there, and eventually got more and more feedback. And then I think one day just kind of said, fuck it, like this is something I actually enjoy doing.
And did you just make it public?
I just transferred everything all over. I just
Okay.
deleted that account and started going for my main one.
Yeah.
And I kind of at that point realized that generally speaking, people don't actually care that much what you do with your life.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, definitely.
everybody's like, people are gonna judge me for whatever I'm doing right now, and generally speaking, people don't actually give a shit.
Well, and like nobody's actually gonna like comment on your picture saying like you suck, stop
Exactly.
doing this, you know.
Exactly. Like I don't think my two friends who I played hockey with when I was 14 are gonna sit at Joey Polo Park on a weekend and talk about how much my photos suck. Like,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Just not,
yeah,
that's just not a thing that happens.
definitely.
It was just a matter of getting over sort of myself, I guess, in that aspect. But
Yeah. So when you were like first starting to take pictures and all that kind of stuff, what like inspired your shots? Like, what were you trying to take shots of? How were you trying to make them look? What was your like your general style, you would say?
I actually, that's a good question. I actually struggle with that a lot. In high school, one of my best friends, Andrew Mann, I'm not sure if you know who that is or not, but he's a very, very talented photographer. He went to photography school. He's, to be blunt, his shit's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I would always try to emulate that style with what I did.
Okay.
And similar to insurance, if you're picking up a theme here, I just didn't do good at it. It wasn't that great, and I kind of eventually just figured, like, you know, same thing with if you're an athlete or if you're having a podcast or whatever, you got to do it in your own style. Otherwise, it's just A, it's not going to be good. B, it's not going to be fulfilling to even do it.
Yeah, you gotta still like have fun with it. You
Yeah.
know, you can't. Yeah.
And the shit that I like is, you know, bright colors and all those different things. So that's kind of what I roll with now, just because I like the way it looks.
Man, I definitely noticed like the colors.
There's
like,
a lot of Sometimes it may be a little bit overdone, but you know,
I personally like that though.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, I know. Like, I'll have some clients where they're like, "All right, man, you gotta
tone it down a little bit."
Yeah, you gotta bring it down a little bit. But you know, it's what I enjoy. So if I'm doing anything for a personal project, especially, that's definitely what I'm going for now.
Okay. Who else would you say are kind of like inspirations?
See, like I said, being a self-taught athlete guy, it was like I never really looked at that many people as like inspirations. Like there's people who I was very, very jealous of.
Okay.
And there's people who I reached out to, like Devin Gray. We would talk on Instagram, and I remember messaging him one day, just being like, "Man, like how did you get to where you are?" And he was super willing to share. He was like, "Look, I think he was in construction management program or something." He said, and he just realized it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, for lack of a better term, fuck it, I got to do what I want to do. So I more looked at people for inspiration on how to get to sort of the next level instead of trying to emulate a style. But like now I'll spend, whenever I'm editing, I'll have like a 2-screen setup or something, and if I'm doing a video, I'll have like the one music video on this side, and I'll be watching some other music video or some video on this side, trying to be like, oh, that's kind of a cool look, or I'll try to pull some inspiration from this. But
you'll kind of try and like correlate to like something else that's going on that's like their image almost.
Yeah, I with any video I make now, I really want to do stuff that tells more of a story than anything.
Yeah.
Like, you can make things that are very just aesthetically pleasing to look at.
And flashy.
Excuse me. And there's a lot of people who make music videos and stuff like that who are, frankly, way better at making things look cool than I am. But I get more enjoyment out of being able to like tell a story out of it.
Yeah.
I'm actually sitting on like 7 videos for Flamenco Sketch right now. He and I.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he and I played high school hockey together. So, but yeah, so we've been working on stockpiling some stuff. I think he's gonna be releasing them down the road. And so that's been. He's been great to work with in that sense because, well, for I guess in every sense, like I really like working with him. But he also gives me a lot of creative freedom to try to find a story to tell with the songs that he's putting out.
He kind of he puts his trust in you to just kind of figure out.
Yeah, exactly. And we do have a very good sort of communication flow where he could hit me up and be like, this is not at all what I want.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get offended by it because, you know, we have that backing, I guess. Yeah.
Would you find that you guys like, it's just like easy flowing, like good work and it's always a good time kind
it's
of
honestly
thing?
It's honestly been very, very good recently.
Yeah.
I just because we've known each other for so long, like we were filming one the other day, and just because we work so much together now, we kind of never finish the sentences we're saying.
Oh yeah.
So we'll like trail off in the middle of a sentence because the other guy will kind of pick up where we're going.
Yeah.
But if we have,
you know what I mean. Like
yeah, exactly.
those,
but if we have any like, there's a girl who was helping us out with one of the music videos, and
yeah,
she was like, "I have no fucking idea what you guys want me to do right now." We were all completely ready to roll, 100% on the same page, and she was like, "You guys haven't finished one sentence this entire time." So,
oh my god.
So, I mean, blessing and a curse in that front, but you know, you'd rather have that than the alternative for sure. So
yeah, when you guys are like gonna select a song to make a video for, do you guys just kind of go through a list of music and then something that you're vibing with and you can think of something right away? Is that kind of how you go off of it?
So a lot of it for what'll happen is for George, for example, he will send me, or George's flamenco sketch.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I said that.
Yeah, no, I've met him a couple times.
Yeah,
shout out George.
Yeah, shout out to George. Yeah, he actually just has like a Google Drive folder that he'll just drop things into, and I'll essentially, whenever I'm trying to come up with an idea for a music video, I just kind of listen to it on repeat as I'm driving around in the car and just wait to see if I can find like a line or something that I can build a video around.
Okay.
So he'll be like, "Hey, I like all these. We don't have to do all of them, but there's potential for these ones," and then he'll kind of pass it on to me and say, if one of these really sticks out, then let's do it. So it's
interesting.
And the nice thing about working with him too right now is he doesn't have necessarily a hard deadline for everything. He's kind of just stockpiling things to, I guess, maybe set up a bit of a schedule or whatever down the road.
Yeah.
So there's not necessarily like a hard deadline, so we can kind of wait for that organic inspiration.
Okay.
Instead of having to force.
Yeah, having somebody be like, "Oh, I need to shoot it this day. It needs to be out by here."
Yeah. Like I've done videos, like even I do a lot of like corporate videos and stuff, and I'll show up and they'll be like, "I don't really know what we're doing. We don't have anybody who's willing to be interviewed right now. So can you make a video?" And I'm like I can try. I can make slow motion clips of you guys going through your day-to-day activities and put some music.
Just kind of
but
the
like,
classic fucking corporate.
Exactly, but to be able to have the actual time to do it justice, I think is really important. So.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've been procrastinating between episodes too, but that's because I'm filming like every other day and trying to stock up a bunch of good stuff so that I'm.
You're busy as hell, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll always have something to give back. Everyone, like, I'll try to not make it too long in between putting something out. And then...
It's that balance, right? Like, you don't want to... Like, for example, I used to post Instagram pictures every day. Like, that was my thing, is I would try to do a daily schedule.
Okay.
And then by the end of it, I was like, I'm just putting out shit. Like, some of the stuff is just not great because... And you gotta go back,
delete shit, and like clean it up after a while.
Exactly. And I mean, I'll be honest, I don't even like Instagram, but like it's part of my job. Like that's kind of, it's been great for the business side of things, and
that's definitely like one of its biggest assets.
I just I find that I'll get like too wrapped up in it sometimes.
Okay.
That's the same thing I guess with like all social media. Like I'll go on times where I just straight up delete everything.
Looking at like how much time you've gone on it and stuff. Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it'll be like 8:30 in the morning, and I try to set like reminders for how long I've been on Instagram. Like, it'll be 8:30 in the morning, and I'm hitting my warning time already, and I'm like, this is not
this is
good.
Tough.
This is tough. Yeah. So,
what would be like a day-to-day kind of life thing for you? Waking up, checking Instagram, and then going from there, or what?
Yeah, it's I'll be honest. Like I'm on it more than I should be.
Oh, me too, man. Like, I'll openly admit it. Hell yeah, I'm on it way too much.
I deleted Twitter actually recently, just because it was like I deleted the app.
I've never really fucked with it, to be honest.
See, I love it. I think it's hilarious.
Oh, it's funny. There's lots of good content.
But just like in terms of like I'm a big like mental health kind of thing because I've been through like some shit myself.
Yeah.
So I'll always look at it from that side of things, and sometimes it's just like there's
toxic.
So much negativity. Yeah. And, like, you can't have an opinion. Like, you can't be neutral on a topic on a site like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you kind of have to be butting heads and attacking people. And
yeah, like, insane amounts.
There's perspectives that I agree with more, but at a certain point, everybody comes from such extreme sides and aggressive sides that it's like, I don't even agree with either of you guys right now. I think you guys both look...
It's either far left or far right. Exactly. And those two are completely butting heads.
And everything's become political and... Everything's about the virus now, and everything's about all this stuff. Which, like, I agree. There's an important need to be informed, but at a certain point you gotta not see that shit, otherwise it kind of weighs you down.
It consumes you, yeah, for sure.
Because there's always going to be more and more and more and more, right?
Yeah.
You're never going to reach the end of Twitter. You're never going to reach the end of Instagram. You keep scrolling and it's going to be there. So it's one of those things where, you know, getting rid of, like, I'll still check Twitter every couple of days on my computer or something. Like, I'll just pull it up on the browser and check the trending topics or something. But
yeah.
We actually canceled our cable at home too, just during the pandemic, because it's like, first off, there's no sports on, so I was like, okay, there's 95% of what I'm watching anyways.
Yeah.
And all that was on after that was people talking about the pandemic, and it was just like, at a certain point,
no need for it anymore, like, man. Just internet, and you're good.
Like, at a certain point, you just need to not think about that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not by any means saying don't be informed on this stuff, don't be educated, don't be doing everything you can, but like, it fucks you too. It really does.
You can't spend all day, every day looking at all that stuff. Yeah,
and then there was that whole... Then everybody got canceled in the span of like a week.
Yeah,
and it was
so
just
many
like,
people.
And it was just... There's just so much negativity that it just really... Even if you're not even involved, if you don't even know anybody involved, whatever it is, it just becomes so much in your face that you can't escape it because it's so addicting to at least consume it, or I guess like consume the social media apps to
as long as it's still there, you're gonna keep going.
You're gonna pull down, you're gonna refresh it, right?
Yeah.
So I had to try to take away that temptation a little bit. And
okay.
Like, I'm talking, I would spend hours a day. So it was just a total waste of time.
What would you say is like your favorite social media platform?
Ooh. I would say my least favorite is Facebook. Facebook, just like, everybody has an opinion on everything.
Oh yeah.
Like, well, I guess Twitter's the same way, but at least Twitter's like, okay, like, you can only use so many characters. Facebook's like,
go to town.
Facebook's like, you can write a novel here if you want.
Yeah.
I like Instagram just because, I mean, like I said, I don't like it, but I like it. Just in the sense that I'm a bit like, I like visual stuff. I like actually looking at pictures. So that's cool. But, you know, I think everything's got to be enjoyed in moderation, and we're kind of trying to figure out where that is right now. So.
What are all the like services that you do provide or can provide for people?
So it's been like narrowing down a lot lately. I've done some very, very basic web design stuff in the past. I've done a little bit of Photoshoppy stuff, even though, I'm not the best at it, but like if someone needs something basic done, I could get that done. But
yeah,
I would say like 95% of the stuff I do now is all like is all like video related.
Okay.
So I'll have people who I just edit for, like they'll send me footage and I'll just edit it. Or I'll shoot, edit, storyboard, write the scripts for it, all that stuff too. So.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And then the photo stuff has just kind of become more fun for me than anything. Like.
That's just like a fun side thing that you do.
Yeah, like I'll still do it. Like I'll do like real estate listings where I do like a photo video package, or if I have a friend who approaches me and asks me to do like a photo shoot for them, like I'm happy to do that. But the photo stuff just got frustrating. Like I'll be honest with you, I've been stood up at so many bookings that it's like.
Oh no way.
Yeah, because I never really like asked for deposits on stuff.
Yeah. And
people would book me, and I like this was back when I used to live outside of the city, so I remember there's one person who asked me to shoot for them, and I won't say their name obviously, but they wanted to shoot at the Forks. So I drove like 40 minutes into the Forks, and then they just ghosted me.
No.
To date, have not heard from them again.
Oh my god.
Ghosted me, unfollowed me on Instagram right after, and I was like, this is sweet.
Man, after putting in all that effort, getting all your gear ready, going down.
So at that point, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna focus on the video stuff, because I'll be honest, the video stuff obviously pays more than the photo stuff, just because it is a lot more work.
Yeah.
And like I said, I like being able to tell that story, so I find that aspect of it enjoyable as well. So.
Okay. What would you say was your first like big video project?
First big video project. That's tough actually. So the first big like contract, so to speak, that I ever had was actually for the junior hockey team that I used to play for. They needed it started off that they just needed like headshots and action photos of the players. So that was like the first bit of the contract.
Yeah.
And then around Christmas time, they approached me and they said, hey, we really like what you're doing. Can you do like our team photo as well? And at that point, I kind of took it upon myself to start like taking some video at games and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
And that was just like because I wanted to work on it myself.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, just for fun. Like,
yeah, and then I ended up putting it on Instagram as like, hey, this is just something that I threw together with, just being there.
Yeah.
And I got shared a bunch of times, and the owner said like came back and he liked that.
Can
and
you do more of those?
We ended up putting together something for them for their banquet dinner that we played. That I guess on the projector screen and everything there, and
yeah.
Like, it was the most not by intention thing ever.
Yeah.
Me ended up doing this stuff, so.
And would you say you were very proud, too, with, like, the outcome and, like, it being your past team and everything?
Oh, yeah. Like, I was, I don't even know what the word is, but I was so happy. I was just stoked, so fired up.
Hell yeah.
I mean, just because, like,
That's fucking rad.
It's cool to get some positive feedback, yeah. But like I said, it's funny. I can look back at that video right now and be like, dude, what the fuck were you doing? Like,
okay.
But just because, but you have to kind of do that stuff to get.
How long ago was this?
This was like last dog season. So this was like, so like I said, it's been a very quick thing, and I ended up putting together 3 videos for them that year.
Yeah.
2 on my own, and then one for the dinner for them there, and like each one got exponentially better. Like, I would figure out a new editing technique, like how to go. At one point, it was just clips.
Yeah.
Which was fine, but like.
They're just mashed together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it just looked like a PowerPoint that moved a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, you figure out how to do slow motion and stuff like that, and then how to figure out how to go like speed ramping from like fast to slow to fast again. And
it was funny figuring that out with skate clips and
shit
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, it's one of those things that you just gotta fucking do it. Like, you gotta just do it.
Yeah, you have to throw yourself in the program and just try to figure it out hands on.
And just put out some brutal shit at the same time. Like,
for sure.
There was some. I went to Peru in February, just kind of on on a whim. I was actually was working my insurance job and had like 2 deals fall through in one day that I thought were like gonna be slam dunks or whatever. And obviously we have a little bit of there's like a kicker, like a finder's fee almost.
Yeah.
So that was like money out of the bank account, so to speak. And I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm just having the worst day, and I ended up putting into skyscanner.ca Winnipeg to anywhere for over the Louis Riel weekend.
Okay.
And just click search and
put your like the limit and fucking line. Yeah.
And Peru just came up at a price point that looked okay, and then my roommate, he was sitting like kitty corner to me at the office at the time. So I looked and I was like, Brad, do I just book it? Do I just do it? And he grabbed this like magic 8-ball thing from his desk and shook it, and it came up saying it is certain. So we clicked book, and that was that was it. So I'd never traveled anywhere before by myself, and my sister has always done that. Like, she's actually she lives in Egypt right now.
Damn, interesting.
Yeah, she was in Bangkok last year, or I guess a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
she like teaches at a Canadian curriculum school there, like a school for expats. So, but yeah, just put it in. All it came up with, it is certain, and I pulled the trigger and booked the trip. So.
Well, no, I like all that kind of stuff, so that's why I was saying, like, I would want to check out the video that you made in Peru. Like, I've traveled all over North America, and I've been to, like, Mexico and Dominican and stuff, but I want to travel, like, that's, like, my thing, you know?
Dude, honestly, Peru was the coolest trip I ever had.
I bet.
Like,
yeah.
It was, there was no better feeling in the world, so, like, you can either, like, hike to Machu Picchu at, you could do, like, I'm trying to remember what it's called, the Salkantay Trail or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe got the wrong word altogether. Definitely pronouncing it wrong, even if it is right. But like, it's like a 4-day hike up to Machu Picchu.
Oh wow!
I did not do that. I took the train to this place called the Sacred Valley. It's the most unbelievable thing you'll ever see. So there's like these crazy rushing rapids here. It's on a cliff, and then you're on this train that's like going through the mountains.
Oh, it's like World's Dangerous Roads, dude. It's type shit.
Have you ever seen Avatar? Like that movie, it fucking looks like that. Like, it's crazy. Like, and there's the tops of the clouds are all, or tops of the mountains are all covered in clouds. And and then we woke up at like 3:30 in the morning and climbed the mountain,
like to the summit, like
wow. And then just like watched sunrise over one of the wonders of the world. Like, it was fucking, like, I can't even describe that feeling.
Yeah, it's like overwhelming.
Yeah,
you know,
just like
that would be amazing.
The feeling of accomplishment and like insignificance, I guess, that you have at that point. You're like, all right, well, somebody built this, and I'm exhausted from walking up this hill, let alone carrying shit up.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
so getting back into like the videography and stuff like that.
We got a little off topic there.
No, man, that's good though. What kind of like equipment and stuff do you like to deal with? Like what's all in your inventory?
So I've always been like a Sony guy. That's just what I started off for the camera stuff.
Okay.
Because everything got stolen recently, which is
man, that was fucking nuts.
That's a story we can get into if you want to, but
I'm saving that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's because of all that, I had the chance to like essentially start from ground zero again.
Yeah.
So I had a whole bunch of like upgrades and stuff that I had planned for the next say 9 months.
Okay.
And instead of going and buying stuff to replace it within the next 9 months, I just ended up spending the little extra more and getting the stuff I wanted to now. So
yeah.
I have like a Sony A7 III is the camera that I use now, which is honestly I'm blown away by it every day. Yeah. Just in comparison to what I was using before. But then I just have, gimbals, or I got a new gimbal that can support a bunch of different accessories, like a stabilizer that I use for like real estate videos. I do the I work for it's a company called Sync Digital Solutions. They do some of the marketing for the Ed Dale real estate team.
Okay.
So like all of his house listings, all of his walkthroughs, everything, I do those ones.
Yeah.
So the gimbal just kind of lets me do it all in one continuous shot, so that we sort of make it look smooth for the people.
Yeah, like it's way more stabilized.
instead of the walking and everything. But there's a price tag on that stuff, and just switched over to Premiere Pro like 2 days ago for editing stuff. But I'm I'm all over the place with the stuff I use. To be honest with you, I kind of buy stuff as I need it.
Yeah.
I try to make do with the least amount possible until I become sort of handcuffed by the gear I have. And then at that point, it's upgrade by necessity and not just because.
Would you say you have any like pet peeves with clients or like even artists when you're doing a music video and things like that?
I think I will say the pet peeves that I get a lot of the times is just, and this is like maybe more a comment on my computer than it is on anything else, is like I'll make a video. So I always, when I do it, is I'll shoot the video, I'll make a video as I see it, as I sort of have I envision it for myself, and then I'll send them that copy and I'll say, okay, tell me what you want changed, because obviously they're going to have a little bit of a different vision, and the client's always right in this field.
Yeah.
So, and I'll send it off to them, and they'll be like, okay, but I want this change, this change, and this change. And I go, okay, that's great. So I change it.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, okay, and can you also change this? And it's something not related to those other three. And then they'll be like, and I'll end up doing like, I think the worst I ever had was 22 different exports of a video for somebody, because they just kept adding on to different things that they want to change. Yeah. And I was like, just tell me, like,
tell me all
just
of
tell
them
me what it is.
Once.
Yeah. So now I've actually, like, when I go into negotiations or like the setup or whatever, I'll say like, there's two things that I want to say right off the bat. If there's anything that I'm doing that you don't like, just tell me. I'm not going to be offended. Like, this is my job. This is.
Yeah, don't be afraid to like
if you
cut,
want,
like, what the
if
fuck,
you want something specific, just be like, I want this, and I'm not gonna argue you on it. Like, you're gonna be right, but just tell me, because I can't read your mind. And the other thing is like, a lot of times I'll have to put like a limit of the amount of, I guess, re-exports or retouches that we'll have, just for the sake of being like I'll do like 3 exports essentially. Yeah. So I'll give them my first copy, like a copy that could pass, but I know that they're going to want to make some changes. Mm-hmm. And then the second time I'll want them to, or after that they'll tell me what it is that they want changed. Yeah. So I'll go back and I'll change those things, and then I'll send it off again for approval, and then from that point forward, we'll make more changes. Okay. So that lets them like see the changes that I made based off what they said. If they don't like anything, we can go back. We can make another tweak to something in the middle to patch it up. But if it just becomes like a continuing process of like over and over and over and over and over, yeah, like that
blows my mind.
That was when I was just starting too. So I was like, oh, I guess this is like the normal. Yeah. But like it was like 3 days of just going, and I got a little frustrated by the end of it. There's a couple times where I had to go for a walk. I'll put it to that way.
Oh, damn.
It was, you win some, lose most, I guess, but.
Yeah, it's life, man. Would you say there's any, like, rapper do's and don'ts when making a video?
Rapper do's or don'ts? I would say, it doesn't even, like, I don't even care how many takes it has. Like, I've had 30-second interviews that I've done 30 or 40 takes on. Okay. But it doesn't matter to me, because like sometimes like being in front of the camera is hard.
Yeah.
It's really awkward for a lot of people.
You gotta be ready. Yeah.
And sometimes people aren't great at it, and I understand that aspect of it. The two things that I would say for any, not even necessarily in terms of the music industry, don't try to be something you're not.
Yeah.
Like, let's say that your song is about, love. Don't make the video about partying. If you're not usually, people will pick up on something if it's not organic right off the bat.
Definitely, yeah.
It's the same thing with me on my end. Like I said, I probably couldn't make the best party music video just because it's not my style and it's not something that I'm good at.
Okay.
I'm more into the storytelling thing. So if you're know what you are, know what the song is, and be true to that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will try to force something else, and it comes off so fake.
It's pushing a false narrative,
It comes off so fake to whoever's watching it that it becomes not enjoyable to watch, right? If you're watching a music video with somebody and it's their song, it's kind of like a glimpse into who they are as a person. You could tell when it's not the person that it actually
when you're putting on the character.
Yeah, I would say that so that's one thing, is just be whenever you're making a video, always be prepared to not overdo it. Not everybody wants to be Drake, but not everybody is Drake. Yeah. Right? So
man, I actually heard a pretty funny one. Everybody wants to be Fetty Wap, but nobody wants to lose an eye. It's like that.
That's actually very good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, exactly. Everybody wants to get the clout or whatever that people get, but it's not as easy as that. And the reason that Drake's good at what he does, or beyond losing his eye, Fetty Wap is good at what he does, is because that's who they are, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you look at Eminem's music video, his style was the way he's raised. It's the way he's always been.
Yeah, he kept it original and
exactly
him.
Whenever you try to do something that's just so not you, it becomes, and not to say that you can't change up your style.
Yeah.
But change up your style in an organic way that's this is actually still coming from me. If you try to branch out into something that you're completely not, everybody knows.
Yeah, for sure.
So that would be one big thing. The other thing is just come prepared to work, and I would say trust the person that you hire as well.
Yeah. Because
anytime that you give that person who you hire to do your video a little bit more creative freedom, you put a little more trust in them, your product's going to be that much better, because they're going to have this vision that they can portray. If you just want, anybody could sit there and point a camera and just capture events. If you want somebody to actually tell the story, whatever, you have to trust them and be okay, you can ask them to explain it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or you can explain it, you can discuss it, you can throw ideas back and forth, but when it comes to the actual shooting of it, just be okay, this is your field. In the same way that I wouldn't go to an artist or somebody running a podcast or anything and say, this is what you should do, because I really don't have any idea what you should do. It's kind of one of those things where there's right ways to go about it and wrong ways, but if you ever end up in a situation where you and your director, so to speak, are butting heads, the product's not going to be good. Yeah. Just straight up.
There needs to be that good workflow.
Yeah, you have to have that good workflow, and you guys have to trust each other enough to be honest, but also to respect where that person's coming from. I would say develop those relationships before you even go into anything else.
Yeah. Take the time to build the relationship.
Yeah. Whenever I'm shooting a music video, I will meet with that person beforehand, and we'll sit around for 2 hours and just have a couple beers and just talk shit.
Yeah, just hang out.
Yeah, just because first off, it's awkward the first time you meet somebody, right? Almost always is. And then put a camera in that person's hands.
Yeah,
and have them recording your every move, and it's okay, now this is really uncomfortable for everyone involved, right?
Yeah.
So it's a huge progression that people if you understand that it takes time and there's going to be a little bit of back and forth, but you hired that person for a reason and they're doing your song for a reason.
Yeah.
To have that belief in each other, I think, is so important. Otherwise it just becomes, if you don't trust your director's work, then why are you hiring them?
Yeah, right? How are you going to be completely satisfied with the finished product?
Exactly. So it's all a bunch of balance. As the artist, obviously have your vision. That's so important. And if I'm shooting a video, I want somebody to tell me exactly what it is that they want. But in terms of piecing it together, I love when people just be okay, I trust you to piece this together. This is the look I want to go for. This is the story I want to tell. Let's figure out how we can do it. And that's the perfect situation. because that gives me a little bit of direction, but a little bit of freedom as well.
Okay, yeah.
So it's one of those things, like, if you don't develop that communication right off the bat, the video's not going to come out good.
So what can we like really see for the future, and like what's kind of like what you have planned, what you want to do, and like everything like that?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't even know what time I'm waking up tomorrow morning, but I think in the future, like I want to transition more to doing more and more music videos. Like that's I really like that, but like I said, I'm also trying to understand that sort of niche of where I'm at, that like I'm not the party music video guy. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff.
Yeah. If
somebody has like something, more lyrical, more whatever, like that's sort of more like I want to be there to tell the stories and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was telling you earlier, I took over today actually, or moved into that the commercial space with Travis, and so I'll be like meeting a lot of artists there and stuff like that. So
you're at Travis's studio?
Yeah, like I'm the middle section of his studio there. Yeah, so
dude, that's so sick.
Yeah, so it'll be good. Like today, Sketch was in there. He was working on some new stuff, and I'd pull him out and I'd be like, hey, like come look at this music video we're working on, and he'd sign off and he'd give me a couple tweaks. So it makes my workflow just so much smoother on that aspect of it. It'll be it just makes so much sense for me on that aspect, just from a networking thing. And and there's so many talented people who are coming through there, and
exactly.
And like I said, I knew Trav in elementary school. When me and him were the quarterback wide receiver duo at recess.
Okay.
And then, from grade 7 to now, we hadn't really talked at all.
Yeah.
And then coming back into it, he's got his hands and his sleeves tattooed and everything, and he's doing sound engineering, and I'm sitting here doing photo video stuff, and we're like,
but it still found a way to
exactly, but we're like, who would have thought that we get to this point? But here we are, and I sit across from him, and I'm like, this dude's work ethic is insane.
Man, hours upon end. Like
he was there. I went in today to bring in like my computer and everything at like 1:00, and when I left there around 8:45, he had just started with a new client.
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna go back there after this today, and he's still gonna be working with a new client. So he's like, the guy's work ethic is insane.
Yeah.
And he treats it very professionally. It's not like it's not like he's just fucking around or.
Well, he treats it like his business, like his job, as he should, which is awesome. Yeah.
So we're trying to make the space, I guess, indicative of that. So we're gonna kind of have the storefront up front, and news clothes that he makes are unbelievable. Like
they're amazing. Designer level.
Like I knew nothing about that stuff at all. Like I appreciate good clothing, but like I'm pretty sure this is like off the rack at Roots. You know what I mean? Like
I'm the same kind of like
but like walking around in his store and looking at some of the stuff that he has on the go is unbelievable. So we'll kind of have that space as our front, and then there'll be like a half wall, and then you go through that and it'll be right into like my office, and I'll have like a little photo studio on one side and sort of my desk with like editing on the other side.
Just what you can kind of fit in there just for
exactly. We'll try to make it we'll try to make it like a very multi-purpose space, but that's kind of like, to be honest, that kind of came to be within the last 5 days. Like it happened super fast,
awesome,
and I had been thinking about sort of trying to get to a commercial space instead of just working out of my bedroom all the time. And, the opportunity presented itself, and it's honestly like today was my first full shift, so to speak, putting in there, and it was awesome.
Would you say that there's any like local artists that you want to work with that like either you haven't worked with yet, don't know how to like approach them, or like anything like that?
I'm kind of at the point where I'm still like learning the local music scene a little bit. So with having that commercial space with Trav and everything now, like the guys who were in there working today, like the songs that they were working on, like I actually really liked them. And I hadn't heard any of their stuff before, so I'm kind of like trying to learn about stuff, but I also wouldn't mind like branching into new like genres almost, like like to me, and this sounds kind of weird, but like I would always love to do that like singer-songwriter type vibe. Like one of my favorite artists all time to listen to across the board, Ed Sheeran. So to do like that type of music video, that's like the bucket list thing for me, is to just sort of go with something completely different. So
that's interesting.
I've like there's one person who, she's just a friend of mine, but Laura Lucas, she came up with a couple songs recently, and like I really like her style of music. I would love to work with her or somebody who does something similar to that style.
Okay.
But I'm kind of just in like that networking phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to meet people and get as much work as I can so we can keep getting better.
I definitely got a few artists I could recommend and show you.
That would be. I'm curious. Who do you think falls into that category there?
Like people that I would want to show you and to expose you to kind of like local music and shit.
Like who's your go-to local people you listen to?
Oh man, right now.
Am I allowed to ask you that, or is that gonna?
No. Right now, I'm unbiased, but like my favorites change.
Yeah.
Like prairie weather, dude. Like
yeah.
every 10 fucking minutes. But for the last couple of years, locally, my boy John Lemon, he's like one of my favorites. Like I'll listen to his shit all the time. But then like I got a couple of like Max's songs on my like work playlist that I'll listen to.
Yeah.
And then a couple like there's that one YSN Fab song that I really like.
Yeah.
And like like I'll listen to everybody. Everybody probably has something that'll strike my fancy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's like
I think there's a huge inclination to look past the people who are local.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody almost thinks like, oh, they're from Winnipeg, they're from my hometown, whatever it may be.
It's gonna be bad.
So I'm not gonna listen to it. But like, no, there's some seriously fucking talented people. Like
crazy talented.
Exactly, and I wish people would give them the time of day because they're a lot more talented than they get credit for.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
do you have any other locals that you like listen to?
Who do I listen to? Like, I listen to a ton of Sketches stuff just because and most of it's like unreleased stuff.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of Sketches stuff. Like when I worked with, Andre and Nathan and True Blue, like I would listen to a lot more of their stuff. Like it's kind of a lot like I kind of get introduced to something new because I was very much like that train of thought that I was describing where you kind of like, if it's not Drake or DaBaby or whatever it is, like it's not worth.
You're in that
time.
Toxic mindset.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I was one of those guys. Yeah. But so I'm like still branching off of a bit, but like a lot of it is I'll look at videos of people who I know that they have shot. So like I'll look at like Max Drucksmann's video. He shot one for Chris Bennett, and he shot one for somebody named like Vyosha or something like that. And just like I don't know who these people are, but the music video was awesome, and it introduced me to the song, and I really fuck with the song.
Okay.
So like I'm as guilty as anyone that I kind of it's easy to go on the Spotify top 40 and follow that stuff, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure this stuff out and branch out more and give a little bit more love locally, but it's just kind of one of those things that like happens organically, and I just need sort of that in, and then I disappear down the rabbit hole. So
is there anybody like locally that you want to give shout outs to just for like giving you the opportunity to work with people that have supported you, like stuff like that? That's here putting me on the spot with that one. In terms of like people who have offered supportive advice for it, like Andrew Mann, I got to give a shout out to. Like when I got my camera, he was the first guy who took me out for my first ever photo shoot to sort of show me the very, very, very basics. Okay.
Devin Gray is a guy who I message back and forth all the time on Instagram. He's always there to answer any question I have. And same with Max Drucksmann. Like there's so many people who are willing to share things with you to help you take that extra step. And it's just a matter of like meeting them on the same level. Like I mean, George has taken more of a chance on me than a lot of people have. Like he booked me for, 7 videos there, right?
Right off the hop.
And we're sitting all of those, and Travis Hayfeld, TravisT Entertainment, he was like, dude, I like your work ethic. Like I think this would be a good thing. So now I have a commercial space based off that. Like there's a lot of kind hearts out there. It's easy as it sounds, but there's a lot of good people who are willing to go the extra mile for people.
Man, once you go looking, like
exactly, and the thing is, it becomes a reciprocal thing too. Like I know that I'd go the extra mile for any one of those guys. At the same point, so it's cool to have those people in your corner for sure, though.
Fuck yeah, and for people who like don't know, you got to plug yourself in for where people can find you on Instagram and all that.
Oh yes. I got to do the cheesy,
The plug-in.
the self plug. Yeah. Instagram would be davemac.jpg. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
If you want to see the website of some of the shit I do, stuff I do. Sorry if my mom's listening.
No.
It'd be just www.davemac.online. One more thing. I gotta, for the terms of people, local people I want to thank. A lot of them I don't even know, but for people who like set up the GoFundMe or whatever after all my stuff got stolen, I gotta thank you guys. Seriously,
Man, big
like
shout
that
out
was
to them, yeah.
that was anybody who contributed to it. That you have no idea how much that helped, and I felt like a very lucky man after all that. So thank you very much. But yeah, back to what you asked. DaveMac.jpg, I think that's Instagram and Twitter, both of them, and then DaveMac.online for the website, and then go from there, I guess.
Thanks, man. Well, thank you for coming down. It's been a great episode.
Thank you for having me on.
Hopefully people have learned more about the man and kind of know what to expect now.
Yeah, it's not often I get to be on this side of the camera, so I appreciate you giving this ugly face a little bit of screen time. So.
No, man, it's been a great time, and thanks for coming down.
I appreciate you, man.
It's been another great episode.